Bitcoin has surged to $66,000 as major reports suggest that the White House has agreed to an ethics package connected to the Clarity Act. This could remove one of the biggest obstacles standing in the way of major crypto regulation in the United States. But does this news have enough power to send Bitcoin to 70,000? So let's break down what has happened, why the market's reacting, and exact levels that I'm watching for Bitcoin. Alright, so let's have a look at the chart. So if we look at Bitcoin has climbed around roughly 3% over the last 24 hours, briefly reclaiming that $66,000 level, sitting at $66,500 currently. The mover brought fresh momentum into the market after weeks of uncertainty and consolidation. The timing is important. Reports suggest that the White House has finalized proposed ethics language for Clarity Act and sent it selected Senate Republicans. This does not mean the full bill has officially become law, but it could represent meaningful progress towards resolving one of the most controversial parts of the legalization. The ethics dispute has focused on whether senior government officials should be restricted from owning or benefiting from cryptocurrency related businesses while serving in an office. This issue has reportedly been one of the final major obstacles preventing the legalization from progressing through the Senate. If lawmakers can reach a compromise, the Clarity Act could move closer to Senate votes. The reason this matters for Bitcoin is that the bill aims to create clearer regulated framework for the cryptocurrency industry in the United States. So I do have a few documents that I'm going to put in the description for you guys to read, but these are basically showing you the facts. The Clarity Act protects Main Street, unleashes responsible innovation, and cracks down on fraud and money laundering. So it's pretty nice to read. This will be in the description for you guys to have a look at. And basically for years, crypto companies and investors have had to operate with uncertainty over which assets are securities, which regulator has authority, and which rule exchange must follow. The Clarity Act is designed to provide clearer responsibility for agencies such as SEC and CFTC while introducing stronger protections for investors and consumers. Markets generally dislike uncertainty. Any development that brings the United States closer to clearer defined crypto regulations could improve confidence among institutions, exchange, and long-term investors. However, we must separate the headlines from what has actually been confirmed. The White House may have agreed on proposed ethic language, but the complete Clarity Act has not yet passed through the Senate or been signed into law. Negotiations could still change, and additional political resistance remains possible. That means that Bitcoin current moves should not be treated as a guaranteed confirmation or a larger rally. Right, so the thing is, you can even see President Trump expected to meet with senators to work on ethics. This was on July 15th, right? And you can see, if you read this, President Trump is expected to sit down with the U.S. Senate through Thursday afternoon to try to work out the most difficult remaining piece of the bill to regulate U.S. crypto markets, according to the people familiar with the plans. As the Digital Assets Market Clarity Act faces the final weeks of potential Senate floor time in which it can most realistically get passed this year, the major unfinished station is the legalization restriction on senior government officials' personal business interests in the crypto sector. Okay, so basically all of these links, this is also, it goes through a whole bunch. This was streamed 2 months ago. It's just something to look at for the Clarity Act. I'll put this in the description for you guys to have a look at. But essentially you can also see ETF flows have been positive since the 14th, right? So as you can see, net positive since the 14th, showing you that a lot of, all these institutions are actually still accumulating Bitcoin at a larger scale. Okay, so when we go to the charts, I'll show you guys some important levels, but something to realize is that this move could could push price higher, right? Which is it's done that. But the problem is a lot of people are still going to think that this is bullish, and we have to look at the chart to see what is actually happening. Okay, so if we actually look at the chart over here, let's go on the higher time frame, like the weekly time frame, and I want to show you guys something really important. We still have this weekly unfilled gap that has not yet been traced, right? So literally sitting over here, there is a massive gap that price might potentially close above, right? Because if you look at structure right now on the weekly, we are still making lower lows and lower highs, right? As you can see over here, there's a high over here, there's another high over here, but what is different is these are lower highs than what this was, right? So you can see how price was moving up here, price is actually going down. So we are still in a weekly bear downtrend. If you look at the daily time frame, we can actually move this a little bit lower, and what we can do is grab the Fibonacci from this high over here to this low right over here, and we are coming to 0.5, and a key level that I'm looking at is this 0.618, which is around about 68,600, right? So if we mark that on the chart, we can also clarify what is the key level, right? And the 68,500 zone. Okay, this is a key zone. So if price jumps up to this zone, I will be looking for potential short, because right now we are still below previous highs. So structurally, we are still bearish in terms of structure. Okay, so obviously this move over here did pump the market quite substantially, but the problem is we are still, still below key levels, which is this previous high over here. And there's a good chance that we might get rejected at the $68,500 level, right? So what I'll be looking at is a potential short for Bitcoin at the zone, targeting previous zones. We can look at the low 50s where the targets are around about here. Okay, $47,000 to $50,000, right? It's another 30% drop. I'm not saying that it's going to do this, but essentially we are still bearish. But let's just say, for example, we start closing back above this FEG on the daily, right? So on the daily time frame, if we close above this FEG, let's just say in the next couple of days above here, then I would be looking for longs, because that means that we have taken out all these shorts that were sitting here, because a lot of people are putting their stop loss above here. So if we close above there, there is a good chance that we might see higher prices. So I'm not really doing anything right now for Bitcoin, just staying patient and waiting to see what we can look for. But I will be looking at a potential short at the $68,000 mark that we just marked out on the chart. Okay, so this is a key zone. We could get up to 70k. There is a good chance, but we need to wait and see how the $68,500 mark looks, right? And then also, what's something to look at is, if we look at ETF flows over here, you can see right over here that renewed inflows into US spot Bitcoin ETFs, while improving sentiment, also across technology and risk asset, has helped the broader market recover as well. So this means that the rally may not be driven by the Clarity Hack headlines alone. The regulatory news appears to be adding fuel to the market that was already beginning to show signs of strength. So this is also where TrackMyTrades AI becomes valuable. Instead of reacting emotionally to breaking headline, I can journal the setup, track the market conditions behind the move, and compare the trade with previous Bitcoin breakouts. The important question is not only whether Bitcoin is pumping, it is whether the setup matches my strategy, whether the risk is controlled, and whether the data supports the tracking my trade. And we've gone over, TrackMyTrades AI. It's literally the link in the description for you guys to join. And essentially, it will help you guys with journaling and everything like that. There is a whole section that I've done on it. So the Clarity Act development is potentially bullish for the long-term future of cryptocurrency industry, but the market still needs to confirm the headline through price action, right? Price action is still bearish, right? Bitcoin has made its first move. Now we need to see whether the buyers can defend it. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Is this the beginning of Bitcoin's move towards 70k, or is this the market setting up for another fake breakout? So subscribe, if you want to subscribe to the channel. I go over Bitcoin, crypto, and market updates, even gold, oil. Went over oil the other day, saying that we're going to literally go up to this zone, and that's exactly what's been happening. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll give you all the updates. Also go over gold, showing you guys what I'm looking at for gold. Looking for potential long at these levels. So we go over literally everything on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy the market update today, and I hope you guys have a good one.